Peace, peace, everybody. This is Akeem, Hindsight Radio, information station changing the nation. Come on, Leo. How you guys doing out there? I'm doing great. I'm on my morning walk with Leo. I'm a little deep in the woods. I was on the phone talking to someone who needed a little help. A little relationship issue he had. So that took me a while. I'm deep in the woods right now. Just where it's all quiet, peaceful. You know, it got me thinking. Have you ever thought about, look how animals, trees, and all the other living organism on the planet, do you think they have the same worries and concerns we got as so-called intelligent beings? Do they? Do we got the same problem? Do they got the same problems? I'll have to say no. They don't. They don't worry about the crap we worry about. They don't. You know? They don't think about the things we think about. Why? Because they haven't painted themselves into a corner. We have painted ourselves into a corner through the things we choose to believe in, the things we choose to accept, things we choose to involve ourselves in. We have painted ourselves into a corner, that we painted ourselves into a society where we believe that we need someone to provide our groceries for us, our food, someone to go out there, gather our food, put it on the shelf, and then we go buy it. Most of the stuff that you find in the grocery store, you know, when I talk, and I'm talking about vegetables, produce, you can grow those things yourself. Well, I don't live in a place where I can do that. Well, that was the choice you made. To live in a place where it's not conducive to you being able to grow your own food. So if you want to eat healthier, you grow your food and put yourself in a position to be able to do that. And with technology now, hydroponics, things, you can grow food enough for your family inside your home somehow. Well, I ain't got the money to buy those little things, those little contraptions. Well, you got enough money to buy those streaming services. You got enough money to go to the movies. You got enough money to go out and eat. Put some of that aside, and then you can do it. There's no excuses. These trees sit here, remain consistent every day, no complaints, and they live and they thrive. And here we are as supposedly intelligent beings, struggling, wondering how we're going to make money, afraid of waking up the next day because you don't know if you have enough money to pay the bills. Why has that become an issue? Because of choices. We believe that this society is all there is. When God said, be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over all things. So that means you got to learn how to have dominion over your own finances, your own situation, your own mind, your own thoughts, your own actions. That doesn't mean you allow someone else to tell you, well, this is how you're going to eat because this is the only place you can get it is from my grocery store, where in order for me to grow these things, I had to poison the vegetables to get them to grow. Just imagine if you were able to grow your own food and, come on, let's go back. Let's go. Come on, Leo. Come on. Just imagine if you were able to grow your own food and how healthy you'd be. You don't. I have to know. You have to know that these foods we're eating out of these grocery stores is messing with our minds. The chemicals and stuff. It's changing us in how we do. It's keeping us from being whole in who we are as children of God. Why? Because it's man's man's doing, man's food, man's way of growing things. Leo. Where you going? He's back there hanging out. You better keep up with me. You know, we have painted ourselves into this huge corner. And if you stop and think, you're like, wow, I've allowed myself to accept a lot of things I should not have accepted ever. See, it's not someone else's fault. It's not the government's fault. It's your fault for allowing yourself to be someone who believed in the BS. Not taking charge of your own situation. Man, our lives would be so much easier if we take charge. Come on, Leo. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Good boy, good boy. Come here, come here, come. Come here. Leo, come. You out here getting your freedom, you trying to, come on, let's go. Come here. Come on, sit. Sit. You know better than that. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. See, Leo. Say hey. Say hi to the camera with you. Yeah, we've allowed ourselves, you know. That's why I love coming out in the woods, because it's so raw out here. You get to really realize these things. That's what I suggest. Go for a walk somewhere away from the mental distractions of people. Because you know when you're in a room full of people and that energy of their thoughts can affect you. That's why you need time to yourself. The Bible says, go off into your secret place and ask. And then there I will be. That secret place is your mind, number one. And the other secret place is alone, by yourself. It's okay to be alone. Man, I love my solitude. I love it. Because when it comes time to come together with the family and everything, I have to readjust my thinking, watch what I say. If I say the things that be going on in my head, man, I wouldn't have nobody around me. So you can't say that, Akeem. You gotta be loving and transcendent in your situation and leave people with their dignity. So, you know, that's what I do. Come on, Leo, where you going? You're gonna mess around and get some ticks on you. I think he's trying to get him a little water. You go down there, you're gonna have a hard time getting up, okay? And you're gonna have to figure it out, because I ain't coming down there. We'll find a place where we can walk down there. All right, peace, people. Thank you for listening to my rant this morning. Have a peaceful and productive. Shoot, this is the last day of June. It's July. Have a peaceful and productive rest of your day. Peace. Hey, by the way, I'll be on later, Inspiration Sundays, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. I do that every 10 a.m. on YouTube. Look for Hindsight Radio or akiemel. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. That static are being sacrificed, and that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you got to feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it, the information station changing the nation.
Peace, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everyone. That's my motto. That's my mantra. That's my chant to everyone, that you have peace and prosperity throughout your life, in your life. You always
what do you call, pursuing happiness, pursuing peace. So, title of the show, Are You Transcendent? First, in order to know what, turn the music down, in order to know if you're transcended or not, we need to know what that means, right? We need to know. Transcendent means beyond or above the range of normal or merely physical human experience. And surpassing the ordinary, exceptional. The conductor was described as transcendent genius. In similar words to transcendent is superior, supreme, consummate, predominant, preeminent. And then it says, of God existing apart from and not subject to the limitations of the material universe. Similar, supernatural, preternatural, transcendental, otherworldly, superhuman. And the list goes on. And some of you might say, or ask yourself, well, those are some high qualities. And might question yourself that I don't know if I'm transcendent. I'm not sure. Well, hopefully by the end of this discussion, this speech, rant, whatever you want to call it, preaching, ministering, you will know whether you're transcendent or not. Well, let's start off. I remember I had a discussion some time ago of how you got here, right? You got here by way of a contest, so to speak. You didn't know you were in a contest, right? You just knew you had a destination. And that is during the time of your conception, when you were conceived in your mother's womb. You knew you had to get somewhere and you had to get there fast. You probably was not conscious of all of the millions of other beings that was trying to get to that same destination. And it's likely that you got to the destination pretty much at the same time others got there. But you were chosen out of this millions of other beings. You were chosen to be able to enter into that egg. You were chosen to get in there. So you were considered at that time, and here's one of the words, superior to the others. You were let in. How I know you were let in? Because you're listening to me right now and I'm talking to you, telling you this. So that means at the moment you entered into this, became a living, viable fetus, you were considered superior. Stop and think about that for a second. Stop and really think about that. Because in the beginning, you were considered number one. You were considered superior. You were considered predominant. You were considered supreme. You were considered supernatural, surpassing the ordinary, exceptional. I mean, need I keep going? See, there's a problem with teaching people this in schools. They don't want you to see that you are exceptional and supreme. They want you to see yourself as being someone who will be along the lines of the range of normal physical existence, physical human existence. They want you to be just like everyone else. Remember, the world you're living in is teaching you the opposite of what God told you and gave you a commission and ordained you to be. The world teaches you to be normal. Don't step outside of the box. Don't do anything different. That's what this world is teaching. Man's world teaches you that. But when you look at how you even got here from the very beginning, it's contradictory to that experience that they're trying to give you. But what happened? Your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your family members, aunts, uncles, friends, family, unknowingly gave you a distorted view of who you really are, who you really, what your existence is really all about. They 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 didn't do it on purpose, so don't be angry. Don't be angry at all. Just become to know that that was a idea, an illusion that was given to you because why? They wanted you to be like them. They wanted you to have that normal existence. And because to them, they believed that that was the right path. So it wasn't done with malicious intent. It was done with ignorant intent. It was ignorant. Ignorant means you didn't know. You didn't know better. But now I'm telling you, you should know better that from the very beginning, you was number one. You were superior. You were the best. Only the best get here to have this experience. Only the superior get here to have this experience, to be able to enjoy life, go on vacations, enjoy different countries, enjoy different foods, and enjoy building businesses. Only the best. So you're the cream of the crop. You're the best. All these million people that you're seeing around you are the best of the best. But then we get here and we start believing in this narrative. I need to get a good education so I can get a good job. I can so I can take care of my family. I can be responsible. I can be just like everyone. Now you fit into societal norms. Now you have bought into this delusional idea of what success is. See, things and the things you accomplish throughout your life are just symptoms of what the real truth is. And what is that real truth? The real truth is that you are exceptional. You're the best. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to change. Only thing, well, let's change that. This one thing you need to change is change that one idea about you that is opposite of what God knows you to be, what you have been created to be. Just change that. And after you change that, all the symptoms will change. Now you will have a symptom called wealth. You'll have a symptom called peace. You'll have a symptom called love. You'll have the symptom of connection with everything around you and be appreciative for the things that you have. Although things may not look great right now for you, you may think you don't have enough money. The first is tomorrow. Ah, man, I'm short on the bills. Be grateful. Be thankful. That bill will get paid. Don't it always get paid? All the scraping and scrapping you did all month, is not really what got it paid. What got it paid is your mind, how you thought about it. If you can just sit back, hey, this is get paid, that's done. And when the situation arises for you to jump in, you jump in and you got it taken care of. One of the things on here, it said, of God existing apart from and not subject to the limitations of the material universe. You know, I call you guys, all of us are gods. You're a God. The Bible says and supports what I say. Anybody dispute it, go read the Bible. I'm not going to pull out the scriptures right now. If anybody in the chat want to pull them out for me and put it in the chat and help me out and let them go read it for themselves. I've read that a lot of times. We're moving on. We're progressing. I'm coming from a place that you are God. That's where I'm at right now. And if you have just started listening to me and you have trouble accepting that, if someone be nice and kind, type those scriptures into the chat, or you can go back and start listening to my recordings from Sunday all the way back when I started. It may take you a while to get to the point where I taught that lesson, but there's a lot of good information in there. So go back, listen to it. But today we're not going to talk about, and I'm not going to try to convince you to tell you that you're God. I'm talking to you like as if I know you're God. Now, whether you know it or not or believe it, that's something you may have to come to terms with for yourself at some point. But I have already come to terms with that for myself. And I've come to the terms that everybody I see is a manifestation, divine manifestation, superior, number one. And what are these other words? Supreme, predominant gods. Now, I will clear this up. You're not God over anyone else. You're God over you, over your life. And if you go back and read the scriptures, when they talk about gods, they were talking about more than one God in that Bible. I'm not going to go any deeper than that, but let's get back on subject. It says, of God existing apart from and not subject to the limitations of the material universe. Can you say and ask yourself truthfully and say to yourself, are you existing apart and not subject to the limitations of the material universe? Well, let me throw this out there. Are you living your life how society wants you to live it, what they call normal? Are you living it that way? Then you're not of God. You're not acting in your Godship. You're not acting in a supreme way. If you're following and keeping up with what society says is normal, and what's normal is for you to grow up through school, indoctrinatory information, go get a job and retire and wait on 401ks, you are not surpassing the human experience. You are working within man's governmental, programmed indoctrination experience. That's the fact. Because transcendent people live an experience beyond what the norm is. You see, that's what transcendent people do. So now the question comes up again. Do you feel like you're transcendent? Are you transcending? Let's move away from the work and the finances. Let's move into a more personal definition of transcendent. And this is what Christ taught through his teachings. He taught this by example. All right. What did he do? He came in to share the word, the good news, right? He came in and healed folks. So he was doing things beyond the human experience, beyond the normal. And everyone saw that and witnessed that. And they wanted to be a part of that. They wanted to, some come for healing. Some wanted to, hey, how do we do these things? And he said to us, he's like, they didn't believe that they were transcended. And he said, no, you will do greater things than I. So Christ already said that we were born to be transcendent. That was the whole example he was trying to show everybody. You are transcendent. Now, whether you act and behave in a transcendent way, that's different. And the only reason why we're acting, behaving in the ways that we do now, because we allowed ourselves to be brought up and taught by societal norms, and we believed it. We ran with it. We took it. I'm guilty. I did it. I did it. So when I have situations, personal, business, and it seems almost impossible to get over these hurdles, I have to step back. Am I being transcendent in this situation? Am I going to transcend this situation? How do I transcend this situation? You know how most times I transcend situations? I sit back and I allow the spirit of truth, the spirit of God that relies in me, the God in me, to work it out. I don't sit there and try to make it complicated and overthink it. Listen, here's a little secret. Most problems get fixed by you not trying to fix them or you not trying to overthink them. Sitting up all night worrying about, no, most problems get fixed is when you close your eyes and go into a state of peace and say, this matter is resolved. Or you could do this. This is a good technique. And I really started to embody this is I would see how I want it to turn out as close as possible, envision that. And then once I see it, I say, so be it, it is done. Then I leave it alone. I go into something else. And while I'm doing something else, the answer comes to resolve it. I told this story a lot of times. I've told it over the years that when I was doing the blog talk radio, I'm going back to doing that. I just have to figure out the mechanical parts that where I can broadcast smoothly. Well, and I think I'll be able to do it because once I bring on Javier and he starts doing his thing, and Steve, they'll be able to help me. Um, the story is I owned a barbershop back in '97, and it was in a small town called Eastover. It's a very small town, and in order to supplement my lack of money that I was bringing in, I to the shop because it was a small town, and I was just making enough just to pay the bills on that shop. And so I got into selling satellites. I met a guy. He supplied me um satellites, and I got so big with selling satellites. And I met a guy named Lloyd, who God bless him, he's passed on. A good friend of mine's, and he would do my installations for me. But we got so busy, he was like, "Dude, you're gonna have to learn how to install." So literally, I learned how to install satellite over my cell phone. There was no one standing there to point this out. He talked me through it. Hey, do this, do that, do that. He was a very good teacher. Then one time I met a problem that I couldn't get him on the phone. And it was just the woman wanted a line fished in her bathroom so she could put a TV in the bathroom. And I never did a wall fish ever. It was always floor pops, and that was it. I was out of there. Now, before I get to that, let me explain something. I didn't have a pickup truck to do satellites where I could put all my equipment on the back and haul them. All I had was my 1996 Nissan Maxima. But I didn't let that stop me. I figured out I didn't have a ladder to get on the house, and because most people want it certain ways high up and things, sometimes it's like that. But I picked the installs where I can just kind of get up there, put it in a nice place, or put it on a pole or something like that. So I got away with that for a while. Eventually, I had to get the pickup truck, get the ladder. I had to grow into that. So I told that little side story to tell you this. All you people that are BSing saying that you need something to get something done, I don't have this yet, and this is why I ain't doing that. It's BS. It's BS. You're just making excuses not to move forward, okay? You're just making excuses to be slow. I'm just calling that one out because I started doing satellites in the 1999, 1996 Nissan Maxima without any place to put a ladder. But I did a lot of installs out of that Maxima. A lot. And then when I was able to graduate to get another truck, a pickup truck, I got that. Then I was able to put my ladder on it. And that was a Nissan Frontier. So if you are a transcendent person, you will transcend your situations. You become superior in your situation regardless of the obstacles. Okay? So back to the point I was trying to make. So I got to this situation and I did not know how to put this wall fish. I called Lloyd up. I said, Lloyd, and Lloyd couldn't answer at the time. He was doing an install. So what happened was I was left on my own to figure this out. And then I was standing there, staring, going back and forth, going up in the attic, coming back to the bathroom, going up, and I was wasting time. I might have wasted about 45 minutes to an hour. Then something said to me, some voice said, just go do what you know how to do and come back to that later. This is a good lesson. And it was a good lesson for me that day. It changed the way I do things forever. It really woke me up. That experience where I didn't have nothing but myself to rely on. I didn't have the handicap or the crux of Lloyd coming in and saving me and telling me what to do. I had to rely totally on myself in this wall fish in this bathroom. So as I was doing something else, almost done with the rest of the install, it said, so a voice said, you could do that wall fish this way. Like the answer just came like clearly how to do it. And I went and did it. This is why I teach the way I teach. Go get started because the answer will always come. It's coming. But maybe you have to do something else to get to that answer. You're stuck on this. When you have an answer for the other part, go do what you know, what you already have. And then God will give you the answer. The spirit within you, the God will give you the answer right while you're working towards the end result, the progress. Progress is small incremental steps, increments, and progress is increments. It's not one big giant leap to success. It's always smaller steps. And this is the part of the process of being a transcendent person that you know this. Non-transcendent people, what they want is to start from 0 and be at 100 tomorrow. That's societal norms. That's how people, they just want the instant. They don't want all of the work it takes to get there. That's too hard. You hear them saying, man, that's a lot of work you're doing. When I started the trucking company, I heard so many things about how hard it was going to be. A lot. And if I allowed those people to sway my position, they weren't trying to tell me to discourage me. They were just saying that's hard and this and that. Really, let me explain something. When people tell you about how hard something is, they're telling you more about themselves than you. What they're saying is they're not really cut out to do the hard work. So they go and do the people's work, the employee work. You know why that's easier, because all they gotta do is write and fill out an application, and then someone tells them, this is how I want you to do this job. This is the time I want you to be here. These are the times I want you to take a break. This is the time you can take your vacation. You can only call out sick so many days, and after that, and these are your levels of progression to where we'll fire you if you don't follow any of these rules. See, the societal norm accept that as being easier. But then when they start to get into the day-to-day life of that, they realize this shit ain't easy. I'm tired of getting up here and going clocking in at this job. I'm tired. Oh man, I can't wait till Friday so I can be off. I can't wait till my day off. I can't wait till I get my vacation. Oh man, then when the vacation's almost over, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. And repeat this same old nonsense all over again. See that to them? See the oxymoron, see the conflict, see how they have not transcended, because that's societal norm, to accept that as normal instead of accepting, man, I don't have to have this. I can go make my money here. Yes, it will be a process to get myself up to multi-million-dollar levels. It will be a process, but I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do that than to sit there and suffer getting up every morning, clocking in, and answering to some boss don't even know the job. I was asked the other day about my pillars of life. Like, what are my pillars and what I want them to be? Like, and one of the pillars was, family. Oh, being better towards the family, doing things like that. And then another pillar was the business. Like, what he asked me specifically, where do you see this business? What do you? And I said, well, I see this business as a $500 million business. Then he asked me, how long do you think that would take? I said 5 to 7 years. See, when you start envisioning, you start putting definites on stuff, you start to say things. And that number just came out, $500 million a year business. You got to start doing that with yourself. What are your pillars? What do you want for yourself? And you got to write down, how do you want that to look? How do you want it to look? And then once you see how it looks, you will never forget that vision. Then you will become convicted, and you say, listen, I did some things that to be at $500 million, 5, 7 years, there's some things that have to change. And that's the thing that gets people. That is the snag. That is the hook that keeps people from moving forward in their success for themselves, is that they got to change. I'm sorry. Guess what? Life changes anyway, with or without you wanting to change. It will change on you. One day you're going to be healthy, and one day you're going to get sick. And it might be like me, right? I'm eating healthy and doing all these things. I had a heart attack. That changed me forever. So I had to rethink some things. See, life can change on you, and it will change. So how about you take control on those changes for the most part? You're going to change. Things are going to change. You're going to get older. Because right now, most people who have jobs are marching towards a fixed income at the end of that road. Someone asked me that a few weeks ago. What do you think your life will look like? And I was like, I don't put limits on my life. My money is unlimited, baby. I ain't trying to live on a fixed income. I'm trying to live on an unlimited income. Because God made this world to be experienced in an unlimited way. So why am I limiting my experience here? Make it good while I'm here. While this body is here, I'm going to make it good. And I also want to make it good for everyone around me in my circle. Make it good. Make it count. Let's see. And I go for those morning walks with the dog. I mean, I really enjoy that. Like that's just like the best, one of the best parts of the day. Then Beth, she don't get up as early as I do. And that's okay. So we went and sat by the lake and sat down with the dogs for a little bit. But those are the best parts of the day. Because you know why they're the best parts of the day? Because those are the days I draw on my the divine nature and bring it all in, and then I could come have these conversations with you. Who's out there? Um, Credit Man says peace. DJ OJ said peace almighty. Theoretically God says peace. By the way, that's my brother Paul. Um, Morning everyone is DJ B Thunder. Then he also says peace, peace, love, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Peace, brother. I truly enjoyed the walk shit today. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. You'll see more of that. Discipleship Ministry said, peace, my brother. Peace back to you. Much light, peace to the gods. Luke Kane, Apo. Peace, everyone. AB, Paradigms, CAD, said Meyer. And In La Vida says peace to all. All right. So, after all of what I just said, and experiences I gave you, do you consider yourself transcendent? I consider you to be, although you might be hindered by your own thinking process, but I believe everyone's transcendent. Everyone is above the human experience. Everyone is superior. And one last thing I want to share with you about being transcendent. Transcendent requires, it's a requirement that when you're faced with challenging situations from people, maybe they do something negative or you perceive as negative, transcendent means that you will remain that divine being that God created you to be, even in that situation. That's being transcendent. That's rising above that situation. Isn't that what Christ did? He was the Son of God, had powers. You have powers. He used those powers. They didn't appreciate him for it, and they ridiculed him afterwards. If you don't know this, and I've said this before, the people that killed Jesus and persecuted Jesus or wanted him dead was the very people that he helped. So I'll say this. Who are you to be upset? Or if you're upset at what somebody's done to you, then you're not being transcendent. You're not displaying Christ-like qualities. If you're taking it personal, you're not transcendent. And sometimes, well, you're rightful to be upset. You might be concerned. Yes, maybe so. But people are doing things based off their experiences. And sometimes they're not being personal with the wrong that they might inflict on you. But be transcendent, because being transcendent requires that you transcend those situations and look beyond without the retaliation or the resentful and hurtful thoughts, because only person you're hating or hurting and hating is yourself. When you allow yourself to go into the hell of those emotions and display them, you're only hurting yourself. So why allow someone to do something and then take that and then hurt yourself? That's transcendent. So I'm not going to try to convince you and tell you, make you believe you're transcendent. I already believe that. I know that. Because I look at how you got here. Everything else is just your experiences that you accumulated and you decided to believe in, and now you believe in lower or less of yourself than what God created you to be. You are a divine manifestation of God. We all are. And when you start seeing people and you look at them and say, that's God. See, that's the problem. Society told us, don't call anybody else but God, God. This guy out there that's mysteriously in heaven. That's what they told you. And this is why when people come at you, you look down on them because they not God. But when you start saying that's God and you respect him and love him for being God and being a divine manifestation of God, it changes your whole experience and how you deal with them. But you, at the same time, have to see you before you can see anybody else as God. You have to see yourself as that too. All right. Maxell says, it says a good man accumulate wealth for his children's children so that means you should always have more than enough, a limited amount of income. Absolutely. Men, you're not accumulating wealth for yourself. You're accumulating for the generations to come to make their life more easy. You are to transcend the current income deficit that's going on in your community, in your home, in your family, and break it. That's your mission. One of them. And Jason in Brazil says peace. All right. 10:46. I didn't go a whole hour, but I think I said enough in this 45 minutes. So I'm going to let y'all get on with your day and think about what I said. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Say it again. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to go through something to accomplish something. It's too hard. That's too much. I hear people say it all the time. Man, that stuff you do, I couldn't do that. Working out. Who you listen to, who you choose to take advice from, inadvertently or not, directly or indirectly, affects the outcome of your ability to level up. Sometimes you'll take advice indirectly just in conversation, like with family. They're talking about their job. They're talking about all of these different things and how you need to go do this and do this. And you're a person standing there with big dreams and they're talking about. It is clear that there is no true success in working for someone. There's no true generational wealth building in having a job, a 9-to-5. If you're okay with just the paycheck and just taking care of no generational wealth, no passing things on to the generation, then the job is perfect for you. It's the perfect deal. If you're okay with being in a position where you hate to get up every morning and you're living for the weekend and you got to budget your paycheck so you don't run out of money until your next paycheck, if that's okay with you, then the job is perfect for you. Go for it. But I could put money on it. 99.9% of people listening to me do not like their job that they're going to. But yet, you negatively repeat that process daily. You get up in the morning, man, I don't want to be here today. See that negative reinforcement? Man, can't wait for the weekend, man. Man, I hate that. If it wasn't for, man, if I ain't had these bills to pay, I wouldn't even do this. I wouldn't even put up with that ignorant ass boss that I got. Man, if I could just hit the lottery, man, I'll go in there and piss on their desk and leave if I could just hit the lottery. See that? See that repetition? But we consider that wrong. The world considers that to be wrong. The world considers that to be okay, but God didn't say that was okay. He said, have dominion. And think about repetition. What is repetition? It said, have dominion and be fruitful and multiply. To repeatedly multiply. To multiply is another way to repeat something over and over again. Times it by itself over and over. Be prosperous. You're supposed to multiply your prosperity. Not put yourself into a deficit. Multiply. But how do you do this? You got to positively repeat and soak up, seek wisdom repeatedly, daily. Give me the wisdom to get out this day, Lord. Please give me the positive wisdom that I need, that good wisdom. And watch over time, if you repeatedly ask for that, you can repeatedly do that, things will change. They say God made the world with a word. Things change with a thought, and then comes the word, and then action. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it, the information station.